Hello and welcome to a special edition of Soul in My Soul. This is an edition that I wasn't planning on doing today, but I just finished watching the launch of the OnePlus 5. It ended less than 10 minutes ago as I'm recording this. And so those of you who've read my writings over at WaygookinWay.com, you know that I've talked before about the importance of a smartphone if you're traveling to Korea or if you're planning to move to Korea like I'm trying to. So naturally, with this review, I'm looking at some of the specs, I'm looking at the price and whether or not I would buy this phone. So those of you who know me know that I currently have a OnePlus 2 phone and I have a Nexus 5X phone. And so of the two, the phone that I actually use every day is my OnePlus 2 phone, because for me it works a lot better than the Nexus 5X. So using the OnePlus 2, really no complaints about the phone for using it here in the US. It is a problem if I want to go to Korea with it because the phone didn't have NFC put into it and never got enabled, so that was a huge problem. So because of that, and because of just the Nexus phone being a problem, I am in the market for a new phone. So as a OnePlus user who's happy, I was looking at getting a OnePlus 3T, but we were so close to this event that I decided to wait to see what was going to be offered in this phone. And so looking at the basic specs, they didn't spend a ton of time on a lot of the specs. There were certain ones that they did key on. So just going through some of the stuff for those that are wondering, the battery is 3300 milliamp hours and it is a non-removable battery. So if you're wanting a removable battery, this won't be for you. As far as the ports, it is a USB Type-C with dash charging. It will not give you 100% charge within 30 minutes, but it can go from 0 to a little over 50%. I think it got to 57% on dash charging within 30 minutes. The whole point of the dash charging is that instead of it getting the phone warm, as other quick charging things will do, whether it's a wireless charger or just a quick charging cable, the power is done in the power source, whether it's your car charger or the wall charger, which is why you have to have the dash charger in order to do it. But it keeps the heat away from the phone so that it charges faster and more consistently, which is why people gave awards to the OnePlus 3T and called it the fastest charging phone in the world. So that they did give that explanation in the video as to how dash charging works. And if you do go back and watch the video, they have the Galaxy S8. The Galaxy S8, I guess, has a 3000 milliamp hour battery, so a little bit bigger battery in the OnePlus 5. And they did the phones just being stationary in charging, and then they did a test where they were driving using the phone's GPS and charging for 30 minutes, and of course the OnePlus phone charged faster. So if you're needing a fast charging phone, then this is something you may want to look at. They did have a representative from Qualcomm there to talk about their new Qualcomm chip. It is an octa-core chip, and so Qualcomm is very proud of the Snapdragon 835, and they talked about the improvements between that chip in the OnePlus 5 and then the one that was in the OnePlus 3 slash OnePlus 3T. So definitely something that they wanted to emphasize. It will have Android Nougat and it will have Oxygen OS on top of it. So the same stuff that you see in OnePlus, it won't be exactly stock Android, but it'll be near stock Android. They joked about not having a headphone jack, saying, hey, that's what Bluetooth's for, and then they said, no, of course we have a headphone jack. and they actually showed a poll where 88% of people who took this poll said that they did want a headphone jack. So they have a front-facing speaker at the top, a headphone jack at the bottom. There is a grill at the bottom as well, along with the dash charger. They do have the alert slider as standard with OnePlus phones now, so you can use that. It has a SIM card tray. It does have the power button on one side, the volume rocker on the other side. So those are pretty much standard things that you would be looking at. As far as the camera goes, it does have a 16 megapixel camera in the front, which is definitely going to be interesting for a lot of people who do use their front camera, whether they're doing live streaming or they're just taking a lot of selfies. If you're someone who does that, the front camera can do up to 1080p resolution, so that's definitely something that a lot of people, as I said, if you're going to do a lot of live streaming and you want to be facing your camera and see what your audience is seeing, that will be a big deal for you. On the back camera, there are two cameras, both from Sony. One is a 16 megapixel camera and then a 20 megapixel telephoto lens. They did show some pictures, and of course the pictures look good. You wouldn't normally expect that from a launch release. So if you're into having a dual camera setup, then that's definitely something that you want. They're trying to make it something where it's similar to some of the photos you could take with a DSLR, and it also will have different features you can play with to make it more of a professional looking camera. One of the things that'll be interesting with this phone, if you're shooting video, will be, again, you can do it in 4K. There are a few 8K stuff out, but most people, especially if you're doing video and people are watching it on their phone, most phone companies try to limit it to below 720p. So to do it in 4K for most people will be overkill. You can do slow motion video in 720p, so high resolution video, time-lapse video at HD is definitely something that is going to be there. As far as for what I would use personally, one of the biggest things, of course, is the fact that this is NFC enabled. That is a big deal for those of you looking to go to Korea, because you can use NFC to pay for your cab rides, your subway rides. You can use NFC to pay for a lot of stuff. So even if you don't use NFC a lot in North America or wherever you live, you can use it a ton in Korea, so it is very useful, and that's why people were happy that they added it back. As far as the LTE connectivity and the bands that they use, OnePlus touts this as truly being a global phone. And some people won't get that reference and what that means, but what it means is this. There are iPhones, there are different types of phones that are out there from Samsung, and you may think that there's just one version of it. There actually isn't one version of it, there are multiple versions of it. So even with OnePlus in the past, there was a North America version, there was an Asian version, there was a version for China, that just depended on what bands you were likely to use in those areas. And of course the problem with that is the North American version might have higher LTE bands that are not used over in Europe or Asia. So if you're a world traveler, it meant that you had an unlocked phone, but you couldn't necessarily use it and pick up certain LTE bands. With this phone, there are several bands that are just built into it. So if you're looking for the FDD LTE bands, it's band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, and 66. So if you're, remember the band 12 fiasco, and companies not putting band 12 in North American phones. Don't have to worry about that with this phone. Band 12 is built into it. CDMA is EVDO, BCO, regular GSM. You're looking megahertz 850, 900, 1800, and 1900. So pretty much any carrier you want to use in North America, you can. And as said before, this is a phone that's going to come to you unlocked. So you can take it wherever you want in the world. If you want to go to Europe, rent a SIM card, go ahead, pop it in. Absolutely no problem. If you're in Korea, you know Korea is the hub of East Asia and Asia in general, so you can fly wherever you want to fly, and your phone is automatically unlocked. So you can use it wherever you want. What comes in the box will be the OnePlus 5. The screen protector is already on there. You'll have the Dash C type cable. You'll have the power adapter for it, the SIM ejector tray, the safety information, and the quick start guide. As far as the RAM of the phone, people found it a big deal that it had 6 gigs of RAM with the 3T. Depending upon the model you get, you can get either 6 gigs or 8 gigs of RAM. So the reason RAM is so important is because if you run out of RAM, then your phone starts to run really sluggish. So definitely having more RAM means there's more things you can run, there's more things you can do on your phone. As far as the colors at launch, midnight black and slate gray. If you're wondering about the weight, it's 153 grams. The dimensions is 152.7 millimeters by 74.7 millimeters by 7.25 millimeters, which makes it the thinnest phone that OnePlus has ever made. So definitely it is a phone that a lot of people were waiting for. It's a phone that a lot of people have been wondering if the specs were going to be true or if the specs had been falsely advertised. You can go to OnePlus 5 right now by going to oneplus.net/5 if you want to see pictures of it, if you want to go ahead and check out more about the phone. The phone price starts at $479, so that's about $20 less than what people thought it was going to sell at. Originally it was set at $500, but $480 as far as US dollars. As far as how much it costs in euros, basically 500 euros is what you're going to be looking at for this phone. There are some pop-up events going on right now. You can go to OnePlus's website and see where those events are, where you can get the phone. As far as general availability, it will be available at the end of the month. So end of June, about a week from now, you can start ordering it from the OnePlus.net website. So definitely, if you're interested in this phone, go to OnePlus's YouTube page and you can check out the video that they did. The video is about 30-40 minutes long, and just see what Carl had to say and the people that he brought on. As far as me, would I recommend this phone? This is a phone that I will probably get to replace my OnePlus 2 phone. I'm a little hesitant because I have a number of USB Type-C chargers already, and on this phone you have to use the dash charger, so I'm gonna have to get a new car charger in order to use this phone. I can only use the dash charger with it, so I'm not thrilled necessarily about that prospect, but to have the NFC enabled, to have plenty of RAM, to be able to take good pictures and video, to have good storage on it, and also the fact that the phone's unlocked with all those LTE bands, meaning I can travel wherever I want in the world pretty much and use this phone. This is definitely a phone that I will get, and the fact that it's a lot cheaper than the ones from Samsung It'll be cheaper than the iPhone. It'll be cheaper than what LG has to offer. Makes it a win-win for me. So thanks for listening in. Again, this isn't the episode that I was supposed to upload, but I just want to do this video quickly and upload it so that you can hear what the specs are on the OnePlus 5 and my review of it. I will do another one about smartphones coming up in the near future and why a phone is so important if you are looking to move to Korea or another country. So stay tuned to that. As always, please like this video, share it with other people, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what your thoughts are on this phone if you would get it yourself. So again, this is Andeun. I have website WaygookinWay.com, WaygookinWay.com, where you can read more about my writings. All the links are in the description box down below. So thanks, and as always, remember the best way to get rid of your nightmares is to live out your dreams. Goodbye.